You might be starting your day with an egg, thinking it's a heart-healthy choice. But if you're frying that egg in the wrong type of oil or cooking it until the edges are burnt, you may be unknowingly turning a superfood into something harmful for your blood vessels. Why is it that the Japanese eat eggs every day and still live long lives, while heart disease rates in the US continue to rise? Why do some people feel healthier when they eat eggs, while others see their cholesterol go up? Could the real issue be how the eggs are prepared? In this video, we'll take a close look at nutritional science, break down common mistakes in how eggs are cooked, and explain how oxidized cholesterol can damage your arteries. More importantly, we'll highlight cooking methods used by some of the world's longest living populations that help keep eggs healthy and safe for your heart. If you're over 50 and have believed that just eating eggs is enough to stay healthy, what you're about to hear may make you rethink your entire cooking routine. Among the most familiar and nutrient-rich foods, eggs consistently rank near the top. Each egg contains nearly all essential amino acids, high-quality protein, and a range of important vitamins for heart health, including vitamins A, D, E, and B12, along with minerals like iron, zinc, selenium, and choline. Choline in particular plays a critical role in protecting blood vessel walls, supporting liver function, and metabolizing homocysteine, a well-established risk factor for atherosclerosis when elevated over time. Beyond protein and micronutrients, egg yolks also contain lutein and zeaxanthin, two powerful antioxidants that protect the vascular endothelium from free radical damage. These compounds are also essential for protecting the retina and preventing age-related macular degeneration. So, with just one soft-boiled egg, you can get a broad spectrum of nutrients that support cardiovascular health, vision, and the nervous system. For years, people were afraid that eggs were high in cholesterol and would increase the risk of heart disease. However, more recent studies have confirmed that dietary cholesterol does not directly translate into higher blood cholesterol. The liver regulates endogenous cholesterol production to balance dietary intake. More importantly, inflammation and imbalanced blood lipids, not cholesterol itself, are the primary causes of arterial blockage, heart attacks, and strokes. Eggs do not raise triglycerides, do not lower HDL, and, when prepared properly, do not increase small dense LDL, the most dangerous type for heart health. Eggs are especially well suited for older adults because they are easy to digest, do not cause blood sugar spikes, and offer high-quality protein without the added refined sugars found in many popular breakfast cereals. This helps stabilize insulin levels, prevent abdominal fat gain, and reduce the risk of insulin resistance, a key driver behind metabolic syndrome, high blood pressure, and stroke. When you look at the eating habits of the world's longest living populations, eggs regularly appear in breakfasts or light meals, but rarely in the form of deep-fried or heavily oiled dishes. Instead, they are often boiled, steamed, mixed raw into rice, or cooked gently in vegetable-based broths. This simple approach allows people to absorb the nutritional benefits of eggs without creating harmful byproducts from high-heat cooking. That's why, before we talk about how improperly cooked eggs can become harmful, it's important to emphasize that eggs themselves are a healthy food and potentially a key part of a heart-protective diet when used properly. Eggs are not just a complete source of nutrition, they are also a natural, affordable, and effective tool for disease prevention when you avoid a few common cooking mistakes that many of us make every day. Eggs are one of the most nutrient-dense foods, but they are also highly susceptible to damage when cooked improperly. The unfortunate truth is that many people are unknowingly making these mistakes every day in their own kitchens. Common errors in cooking eggs not only reduce their nutritional value, but can also turn them into a hidden risk for heart health, especially in older adults. The first and most dangerous mistake is frying eggs at excessively high temperatures until the edges are dark brown or burnt. High heat breaks down the protein structure and oxidizes the cholesterol in the yolk, forming compounds called oxysterols. Once absorbed into the bloodstream, oxysterols can damage the inner lining of blood vessels, trigger inflammation, and contribute to the formation of arterial plaque. This is one of the first steps toward blockage and heart attack. You may enjoy the crisp texture of fried eggs, but that golden brown edge is a sign that the fats and cholesterol inside have been transformed into harmful compounds. The second mistake is using industrial seed oils like refined soybean oil, canola oil, or corn oil to fry eggs. These oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which are prone to oxidation when heated and can produce toxic aldehydes, compounds linked to vascular inflammation, DNA damage, and neurodegenerative diseases. When eggs are cooked in these oils at high temperatures, you're creating a pro-inflammatory mix that is far more harmful than it appears. Even small amounts used daily can lead to significant long-term damage. Another common mistake is pairing eggs with heavily processed foods high in nitrites and sodium, such as bacon, sausages, or processed cheese. The classic American breakfast, fried eggs, bacon, white toast, and orange juice, may seem filling, but in reality, it's an inflammatory storm for your circulatory system. Nitrites, when exposed to high heat, can form nitrosamines, which are potential cancer-causing compounds. Excess sodium increases blood pressure and accelerates arterial stiffening. Instead of starting your day with a heart-healthy meal, this type of breakfast may be pushing you closer to stroke and heart failure. Another common mistake is overcooking eggs until the yolk is fully hardened. This not only destroys lutein and zeaxanthin, two valuable antioxidants found in the yolk, but also partially breaks down choline, reducing its ability to help metabolize homocysteine. As a result, you lose much of the natural cardiovascular protection that eggs can offer. In contrast, simply soft boiling or gently steaming eggs allows you to retain these vital nutrients without needing to use any oil at all. Many people also make the mistake of reheating fried eggs or using previously used cooking oil to fry them. This is one of the main causes of harmful oxidative compound buildup, which rapidly increases arterial plaque formation and raises the risk of blood clots. Every time you reheat cooking oil, you generate more toxins in your food, often without any visible sign. Finally, a serious misconception is believing that adding vegetables to fried eggs cancels out the harm. In reality, vegetables cannot fully neutralize the oxidized byproducts formed from overheated oils and degraded cholesterol. Eating healthy must begin with selecting the right ingredients and using proper cooking methods. You can't cancel out unhealthy preparation just by adding a healthy ingredient on the side. If you realize that one or more of these mistakes happens regularly in your kitchen each morning, it's time to make a change. Eggs are not the problem. The way we cook and eat them determines whether they become a source of nourishment or a trigger for cardiovascular disease. When people hear the word cholesterol, most immediately think about cutting back or avoiding it altogether out of fear of heart disease. But not all cholesterol is harmful, and in fact, it's the oxidation of cholesterol, not cholesterol itself, that poses the greatest risk, especially in older adults. To understand this more clearly, it's important to distinguish between naturally occurring cholesterol found in food and cholesterol that has been altered by heat and environmental exposure. Cholesterol in egg yolks, for example, is a vital component of every cell. It helps form stable cell membranes, supports hormone production, and aids in synthesizing vitamin D. When consumed in gently cooked forms, such as steamed, soft-boiled, or lightly poached, cholesterol retains its structure and health benefits. The problem begins when cholesterol becomes oxidized, a chemical reaction triggered by high heat, air exposure, and free radicals. Oxidized cholesterol produces compounds called oxysterols. These molecules can trigger inflammatory responses within the blood vessel lining, disrupt endothelial function, and allow LDL, the so-called bad cholesterol, to become trapped and further damaged inside the arteries. Oxysterols not only contribute to the formation of arterial plaques, but also promote calcium buildup, stiffening the blood vessels and reducing their natural elasticity. As we age, our bodies naturally experience a decline in key antioxidant defense systems like glutathione, superoxide dismutase, and catalase. This makes it harder to neutralize free radicals and oxidized compounds. When oxysterol levels rise, the ability to repair vascular tissue is weakened, significantly increasing the risk of clot formation and heart attack. This explains why two people might eat the same diet but experience very different outcomes. Older adults are far more vulnerable to long-term damage and complications. Oxysterols don't just impact cardiovascular health. They are also linked to cognitive decline. Some oxysterol compounds can cross the blood-brain barrier, trigger neuroinflammation, and accelerate neurodegenerative processes in older adults. Studies have found associations between elevated oxysterol levels and increased risk of Alzheimer's disease and early memory loss. The consumption of oxysterols doesn't just come from improperly cooked eggs. It's also widespread in processed industrial foods like cookies, potato chips, fried meats, fast food, and cooking oils that have been reused multiple times. However, because eggs are a naturally rich source of cholesterol, they can easily become a high source of oxysterols when cooked incorrectly.
What makes oxysterols especially dangerous is that they can't be detected by taste or appearance. You can't look at a fried egg and tell how much of its cholesterol has oxidized. But you can significantly reduce this risk by lowering cooking temperatures, choosing healthier oils, shortening cooking time, and avoiding overcooked or browned edges. By making these small changes, you're not only protecting your arteries, but also preserving the full nutritional value of both the yolk and the white. In summary, cholesterol itself is not the enemy, but once it becomes oxidized, it turns into a silent toxin, especially for older adults. If you're over 50, your body is already losing some of its natural defenses against inflammation and oxidative stress. At this stage of life, the way you cook your eggs each morning is no longer a minor detail. It could be the difference between aging in good health or facing a sudden cardiovascular event. Once you understand that eggs only become harmful to the heart when cooked improperly, the next important step is knowing exactly how to prepare them in ways that preserve their full nutritional value without creating oxysterols or other harmful oxidized compounds that damage the arteries. The good news is this isn't complicated. By simply adjusting a few daily habits, every egg you eat can truly become part of a long-term heart protection strategy. The first method is soft boiling. This is considered the safest and healthiest way to cook eggs. Boiling an egg for about 6 to 7 minutes allows the white to set while the yolk remains soft but not raw, preserving the natural structure of cholesterol and the antioxidants. Since no oil is involved, you avoid any risks from heated fats. Soft-boiled eggs are easy to digest, high in choline, and retain lutein and zeaxanthin, making them ideal for older adults who need gentle digestion and better nutrient absorption. The second method is steaming eggs or preparing them as chawanmushi, a traditional Japanese dish. Beaten eggs are combined with a light vegetable or dashi broth and gently steamed at low temperatures, resulting in a soft, smooth dish that retains nearly all the biological value of the egg. Steaming avoids direct flame contact and significantly reduces fat oxidation. For older adults with weak digestion or dental issues, steamed eggs provide rich nutrition, easy absorption, and can be combined with vegetables, mushrooms, or light seafood like shrimp or scallops to boost fiber and minerals without overloading harmful fats. The third method is light pan frying with healthy fats. If you enjoy fried eggs, you can still have them, but it's critical to control both the temperature and the type of fat used. Choose a non-stick pan, use only low heat, and opt for extra virgin olive oil or clean animal-based butter in small amounts. Cook the eggs gently over low heat and avoid overcooking or browning the edges. Covering the pan helps cook the egg through without raising the temperature. Sunny-side-up eggs with runny yolks can still retain most of their benefits and avoid oxysterol formation if cooked properly. Most importantly, never reuse old oil or allow oil to smoke during cooking. One often overlooked but very heart-healthy method is poaching eggs. This involves cracking the egg into gently boiling water with a small amount of vinegar, allowing the white to set while keeping the yolk intact, all without using oil. Poached eggs are commonly enjoyed in traditional European breakfasts alongside vegetables, whole grains, or avocado.
This method preserves the natural flavor of the egg, minimizes cholesterol oxidation, and is an excellent option for those trying to manage their blood lipids. Beyond cooking technique, timing and food combinations also matter. An ideal breakfast might include a soft-boiled or steamed egg, leafy greens, a small portion of whole grains, and a healthy fat source like avocado or extra virgin olive oil. This combination helps reduce inflammation throughout the body. On the other hand, pairing eggs with white bread, processed meats, margarine, and bottled juice can still trigger inflammation and raise blood pressure despite the presence of eggs. It's also wise to prioritize organic or pasture-raised eggs as they tend to have more vibrant yolks, higher omega-3 content, and stronger natural antioxidant levels than conventionally raised eggs. These qualities help reduce oxidative stress and support long-term vascular health. In summary, the way you cook your eggs each morning may determine the state of your blood vessels for years to come. Eggs are not the problem. The real issue lies in cooking temperature, oil type, and cooking duration. When you learn how to boil, steam, poach, or lightly pan-cook eggs properly, each egg becomes a powerful nutritional building block in your strategy for maintaining a strong and healthy heart over time. When it comes to eggs and longevity, it's impossible not to mention the Japanese. Japan has the highest average life expectancy in the world, and their rates of heart disease and stroke in older adults are significantly lower than in many Western countries. One striking detail is that the Japanese eat eggs frequently, often daily, yet their approach to using eggs is completely different. This shows that the problem isn't the egg itself, but rather how we approach food as a whole. In Japanese culinary culture, eggs are used in a wide variety of subtle and health-conscious ways. One common dish is tamago kake gohan, a raw egg beaten and poured over a bowl of hot rice, typically eaten for breakfast. Because the rice is freshly cooked and still hot, the egg warms slightly and becomes silky without fully cooking. This gentle preparation preserves sensitive nutrients like choline, lutein, and vitamin B12, which are easily destroyed by high heat. Another widely enjoyed dish is chawanmushi, a savory egg custard made by steaming a mixture of beaten eggs, dashi, a light broth, mushrooms, seafood, and mild vegetables. This dish is soft, easy to digest, and steamed slowly at low temperatures until it reaches a smooth, pudding-like consistency. It is typically served as a light appetizer for lunch or dinner, supporting digestion without putting strain on the liver or cardiovascular system. The method also completely avoids the formation of oxysterols, since it uses no oil and no direct high heat. In addition, eggs are used in tamagoyaki, a slightly sweet rolled omelet cooked over low heat in a special rectangular pan and often served with rice or vegetables. Although it may include a small amount of sugar and soy sauce, the careful, slow cooking process avoids burning or overheating. Just as important is the Japanese habit of consuming moderate portion sizes with minimal use of oils or processed ingredients. This thoughtful, balanced approach to egg consumption may help explain why the Japanese maintain such low rates of cardiovascular disease while enjoying eggs daily. It's not just what you eat, but how you prepare it, how much you eat, and what you pair it with that truly matters for heart health and longevity. The way the Japanese combine their foods is also something worth learning from. They rarely eat eggs by themselves. Instead, eggs are typically paired with steamed vegetables, seaweed, lean fish, and brown rice or fermented white rice. These foods are rich in soluble fiber, polyphenols, and omega-3s, which help neutralize any inflammatory response that may occur. Even when consuming raw eggs, their digestive systems are supported by fermented foods like miso, natto, and tsukemono, traditional staples that promote healthy gut bacteria and reduce systemic oxidative stress. A long-term study in Japan, which followed tens of thousands of middle-aged adults for over 15 years, found that people who ate one egg daily did not have a higher risk of heart disease compared to those who ate fewer. In fact, those who ate eggs regularly while maintaining a traditional Japanese lifestyle had more stable total cholesterol levels, lower LDL, and higher HDL. This clearly shows that when used appropriately, eggs are not harmful and may actually support long-term cardiovascular health. Another key aspect of the Japanese diet is their respect for natural ingredients. Processed foods are rarely used. Refined vegetable oils are avoided, and high-heat frying is uncommon except for a few specific dishes. Eggs are typically organic or free-range, consumed fresh, and rarely stored long-term like in many Western households. Japanese food culture values balance, simplicity, and freshness. This approach reduces the burden on the liver, digestive system, and cardiovascular system. When we compare that to how many Americans eat eggs, fried in processed oils, served with bacon, margarine, white bread, and canned orange juice, the difference is not just in the cooking method, but in the entire philosophy behind food. While the Western model often favors speed and convenience, the Japanese take time to cook slowly, eat slowly, and live slowly. In short, the Japanese don't just eat eggs daily, they eat them the right way, in the right amounts, and within the right context of a balanced food culture. That's a powerful lesson for anyone over 50 who wants to protect their heart health. If you start following their example, beginning with how you cook your morning eggs, you're laying the foundation for a healthier, longer life with less worry about stroke or heart disease. One of the most puzzling nutritional paradoxes that has caught the attention of scientists for years is the fact that the Japanese consume eggs almost daily, yet have one of the lowest rates of heart disease in the world. In contrast, here in the U.S., despite decades of warnings about cholesterol in eggs, heart disease remains the leading cause of death, especially among people over 50. What's driving this stark difference? According to data from the World Health Organization and international epidemiological studies, the average life expectancy in Japan is now over 84 years, while in the U.S. it's around 77. Cardiovascular disease accounts for less than 20% of total deaths in Japan, compared to over 30% in the U.S. In fact, the rate of heart attacks among men over 60 in the U.S. is more than double that of Japan, even though the Japanese don't avoid eggs or restrict natural dietary fats. A national nutrition survey in Japan found that over 90% of adults eat at least one egg daily, while the average American eats just 3 to 4 eggs per week. Surprisingly, Japanese adults not only have lower rates of cardiovascular disease, but also higher levels of HDL, the good cholesterol, compared to Americans. Domestic studies in Japan have also found no direct link between egg consumption and increased heart disease risk, as long as the eggs are cooked properly and consumed as part of a balanced meal. The key difference lies in lifestyle and how foods are combined. In Japan, eggs are eaten alongside vegetables, seaweed, whole grains, lean fish, and fermented foods. These meals are high in fiber, omega-3s, natural digestive enzymes, and contain minimal refined sugars or industrial seed oils. By contrast, in the U.S., eggs are often paired with processed meats, white bread, sugary juices, and highly refined cooking oils that oxidize easily. It's the overall context of the meal, not the egg itself, that shapes how your body responds. Understanding this distinction is critical, especially for those over 50. The focus should shift from blaming individual foods to looking at the broader picture, how meals are built, what they include, and how they interact with your metabolism. That's the real difference between the Japanese way of eating and the Western diet. A study conducted by Japan's National Institute of Health followed nearly 90,000 adults over a 14-year period and found that those who ate an egg every day did not have a higher risk of heart disease compared to those who ate fewer eggs. In fact, the group that consumed eggs regularly had lower rates of stroke and heart failure than those who avoided eggs entirely. Meanwhile, in the United States, many people cut back on eggs but continue to consume large amounts of trans fats, fast food, and industrial fried foods, all of which are proven to increase inflammation and promote atherosclerosis. It's also important to note that the Japanese consume very little full-fat dairy, rarely drink soda, and maintain daily habits like walking and biking. The obesity rate in Japan is under 5%, while in the U.S. it's nearly 40%. This plays a major role in how the body processes cholesterol. People with healthy lifestyles are far better equipped to metabolize natural cholesterol from whole foods, even if they eat eggs daily. In other words, eggs aren't harmful if your body isn't already in a state of chronic inflammation or insulin resistance. These underlying conditions are unfortunately common among older Americans due to diets high in sugar and processed foods combined with low levels of physical activity. In contrast, the Japanese maintain stable blood sugar, healthy blood pressure, and low liver enzyme levels thanks to a minimalist lifestyle and a diet centered around natural whole foods. The comparison between how Japan and the US consume eggs clearly shows that eggs themselves are not the problem. It's poor lifestyle habits that make eggs seem dangerous. If you're over 50 and want to protect your heart, learning to eat eggs the way the Japanese do may be one of the simplest yet most powerful health upgrades you can make in the years ahead. Maintaining a healthy heart after 50 doesn't have to start with drastic or complicated changes. Sometimes it begins with something as simple as how you prepare and pair the eggs you eat each morning. Making this small shift can significantly impact your cholesterol levels, blood pressure, and long-term risk of cardiovascular events. Below is a 7-day meal plan that uses eggs as a central ingredient, combined with heart-healthy foods designed to support your cardiovascular health, digestion, and sustained energy throughout the day. Day 1. Soft-boiled eggs with steamed vegetables and olive oil. Breakfast includes 2 soft-boiled eggs served with steamed vegetables like broccoli and carrots, plus a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. You can add a slice of whole grain bread. This meal provides high-quality protein, fiber, and heart-healthy unsaturated fats that support vascular health. Day 2. Japanese-style chawanmushi steamed egg custard with mushrooms and vegetables. Beat 2 eggs and mix with vegetable broth or dashi stock. Then steam with shiitake mushrooms, thinly sliced carrots, and soft tofu. This gentle, easy-to-digest dish is rich in choline, which protects blood vessel linings and supports liver function. Day 3. Lightly pan-seared sunny-side-up eggs with avocado and tomato. Using a non-stick pan over low heat, lightly sear 2 eggs with a small spoon of avocado oil or olive oil. Serve with half a ripe avocado and a few tomato slices. This antioxidant-rich breakfast delivers vitamin E and lutein, which support vascular and retinal health. Day 4. Tamago kake gohan, raw egg over warm brown rice, Japanese style. For those accustomed to raw eggs, beat a fresh organic egg and pour it over warm brown rice with a splash of low-sodium soy sauce. Add chopped seaweed and a sprinkle of black sesame seeds. This traditional Japanese breakfast preserves the egg's full nutrient profile and supports digestion with natural enzymes. Day 5. Poached eggs with whole grain toast and arugula. Poach 2 eggs in lightly vinegared hot water, serve them over whole grain toast, and top with chia seeds and fresh arugula. This breakfast is high in protein, low in saturated fat, and helps regulate blood pressure and blood sugar. Day 6. Egg salad with olive oil and fresh vegetables. Boil 2 eggs, chop them, and mix with cucumber, tomato, baby spinach, red onion, half a teaspoon of yellow mustard, and a tablespoon of olive oil. This light meal is fiber-rich and provides healthy fats that naturally lower LDL and raise HDL cholesterol. Day 7. Steamed eggs with oats and mixed vegetables. Blend beaten eggs with fine oat flour and add chopped vegetables like mushrooms, carrots, and spinach. Steam for about 15 minutes until set. This breakfast offers complex carbs that help maintain stable blood sugar and support long-term heart health. In addition to the main meals, you should incorporate green tea, plain water, or warm water infused with dried tangerine peel throughout the day to boost antioxidant intake and support liver detoxification. It's also important to completely avoid breakfast foods like fried eggs with sausage, white bread, processed cheese, and bacon, as this combination is one of the most dangerous for blood vessel inflammation, especially in people over 50. If you follow this meal plan 5 to 6 days a week, along with light daily activities such as a 30-minute walk, staying well hydrated, and getting enough sleep, you may start to notice significant improvements in your energy levels, a more stable heart rate, and clearer mental focus within just a few weeks. Eggs are not just a simple meal. They can be part of a long-term strategy to help prevent stroke and heart disease when prepared and consumed the right way. Changing long-standing cooking habits is never easy, especially when it's something you've done the same way for years. But as you get older, your body becomes less able to compensate for damage, and improving how you cook eggs, a food many people eat daily, can be one of the most practical steps you take to protect your heart, blood vessels, and nervous system. The real issue isn't whether you eat eggs, but whether the way you prepare them each morning is friendly to your cardiovascular health. The following is a step-by-step transition plan designed specifically for older adults. It's simple, realistic, and won't disrupt your daily routine. The first step is to identify the harmful cooking habits that may already be present in your kitchen. If you often fry eggs in refined oils, cook them until the edges are crisp or burnt, reuse old oil, or pair eggs with sausage, cured meats, or processed cheese, write these practices down. Being honest and specific will help you clearly see which habits are damaging your arteries every day. Writing it out will also empower you to make conscious replacements rather than feeling forced into change. The second step is to transition gradually, not all at once. For example, if you usually fry eggs every morning, try boiling them soft once a week, then slowly increase that to 2 or 3 times a week. As you start to notice the lighter taste and feel of properly cooked eggs, you'll find yourself less attached to the crispy brown flavor that's more of a taste habit than a real nutritional need. The third step is to prepare supporting ingredients ahead of time so you don't fall into the trap of sticking with old habits out of convenience. For steamed eggs, you'll need vegetable broth or dashi. For poached eggs, keep a little rice vinegar on hand. For Japanese-style raw egg over rice, make sure you have hot-cooked rice and low-sodium soy sauce. Keeping these simple items readily available in your kitchen ensures that making a healthier change doesn't feel like a hassle. You can also boil eggs the night before, so you only need to warm them up in the morning. The fourth step is to upgrade your cooking oils and pans. If you must fry eggs, completely eliminate industrial vegetable oils and replace them with extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, or clean butter from grass-fed animals. Invest in a quality non-stick pan to help you use less oil, avoid burning, and better control heat. This not only makes your cooking healthier, but also saves oil over time. The fifth step is to create a support system within your household. If you live with children, grandchildren, or a spouse, explain why you're changing how you cook eggs and invite them to join you. Having someone to share the process with will keep you motivated. On the other hand, if you're making the change alone while others stick to old habits, it's much easier to fall back. The sixth step is to pair your cooking changes with a specific health goal. For example, track your blood pressure, cholesterol, triglycerides, or heart rate monthly to observe improvements. When you see positive changes just from adjusting how you cook eggs, your motivation will come from real results, not just advice from a doctor. Finally, accept that this change is permanent, not temporary. After the age of 50, heart attacks and strokes often come without warning signs. What you do today builds up silently and shows its effects months or years later. So you're not changing to go on a diet, you're changing to live better and take control of your longevity. When you change how you cook eggs, you're not just changing a meal, you're sending your body a message that you're ready to take greater responsibility for your heart. And when you make that choice consistently, day by day, the rewards go far beyond clean arteries or a healthy liver. They show up in the form of mental clarity, peace of mind, and the confidence of knowing you're in charge of your own well-being. If you've made it to the end of this journey, it means you truly care about the health of your heart, and that deserves recognition. Together, we've taken a close look at the relationship between eggs, cooking methods, cholesterol oxidation, and the stark contrast between countries like Japan and the United States in how eggs are integrated into everyday dietary culture. Now it's time to summarize and highlight a few core principles you can begin applying right away to support long-term heart health and reduce your risk of stroke or heart disease after age 50. First, eggs are not your enemy if you cook and eat them the right way. Eggs are a high-quality protein source packed with choline, vitamin D, B12, lutein, and zeaxanthin, all of which play a vital role in protecting blood vessels, supporting brain health, and fighting inflammation. But when you cook them at high heat, let the edges burn, use industrial oils, or pair them with processed meats, you're turning a nutritious food into a dangerous pro-inflammatory meal. Second, if you're over 50, you should be especially cautious of oxysterols. These are byproducts of oxidized cholesterol, commonly formed when eggs are fried at high temperatures, cooked in reused or degraded oils, or stored improperly. Oxysterols can damage the inner lining of arteries, trigger inflammation, promote plaque buildup, and eventually lead to arterial blockages. This is the underlying cause of heart attacks and strokes, especially in older adults with existing conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, or lipid disorders. Third, learn to eat eggs the way the Japanese do. They don't avoid eggs, but they boil, steam, or poach them and pair them with vegetables, seaweed, whole grain rice, lean fish, and fermented foods. They cook gently, eat slowly, and avoid combining eggs with industrial or highly processed items. More importantly, they view eggs as one component of a balanced anti-inflammatory meal, not as the main feature loaded with oil, salt, and sugar, as is often seen in Western-style breakfasts. By taking these steps, you're not just protecting your arteries, you're laying the foundation for stronger, long-term health, greater energy, and a life with fewer medical surprises. The way you prepare your eggs each morning may seem small, but over time, it can shape the trajectory of your heart health in powerful ways. Fourth, if you want to turn this change into a lasting habit, start with the suggested 7-day meal plan. Steamed eggs, soft-boiled eggs, poached eggs, Japanese-style eggs over hot rice, or lightly pan-seared eggs are all safe, nutritious, and easy to digest. When you pair eggs with vegetables, low-sugar fruits, whole grains, and healthy plant-based oils, you help your body process cholesterol more efficiently, lower blood lipids, and keep blood sugar stable. Fifth, stick to the principle of minimal processing, proper timing, and smart food pairing. This doesn't just apply to eggs, but to everything you eat after age 50. Stay away from processed foods, cut back on salt and sugar, and eat more greens, fresh fruits, and clean water. If you're still drinking soda, eating sausage, white bread, or packaged pastries for breakfast, even steamed eggs won't be enough to protect your heart. Finally, the most important medical advice is to get regular checkups. Even if you've improved your diet, you still need to know your numbers. Total cholesterol, LDL, HDL, triglycerides, inflammation markers like CRP, liver enzymes, and fasting glucose. These numbers don't lie, and they are the best way to track the impact of your lifestyle changes. If something needs to be adjusted, you'll catch it early and prevent future complications. Eggs are a humble food, but if you prepare them the wrong way, the outcome could be a sudden heart attack. On the other hand, when prepared properly, each egg becomes a gentle daily dose of support for your heart, liver, brain, and blood vessels. After 50, the smartest choice is not to remove foods, but to use them more wisely, with greater awareness and at the right time. If what you've just heard has made you reconsider how you cook each day, that's exactly what we hope for. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss upcoming videos on heart health, stroke prevention diets, and reliable medical guidance explained clearly and simply. We're committed to bringing you practical tips, grounded in science, and drawn from the healthiest cultures around the world. Every subscriber helps us grow a stronger, more informed community committed to living well and staying proactive after 50. And if you have a healthy egg recipe that's been working for you, leave a comment below to share it with others on the same journey.